Do you know what concept I'm extremely tired of talking about? The tithe. I am extremely tired of how churches continually preach that you even owe God 10% of your income, your monthly income. And I used to believe this too. And if you wanted God to bless you or you wanted to please God and in a way bless him, then you need to be tithing and then maybe offering on top of that. I speak against tithing because what I now realize that even though I grew up on this teaching, I saw my parents give a massive 30% of their income to our church. It's no small feat for any family to be able to do that. The tithe really does teach people in God's church today that conditional love is the actual rule, that we can talk about God's grace and he's so good, but at the end of the day, if you want God to bless you, you have to work his system, you have to sow, you have to reap. I don't know if these words are familiar to you, but they were used constantly in my church. And you need to do this in terms of investing. It's kind of like an investment strategy, investing in God's system. Now listen, before you get all up after me, I will do a biblical study on this, but first, just does this make your heart come to rest? Jesus is the tithe. Jesus is what was owed, and that is all. Jesus' biggest teaching about money is in Matthew 6. Look at the birds of the air. This is Jesus speaking. Look at the birds of the air. They don't sow, they don't reap, they don't store things into barns. They're not, well, I'm paraphrasing now, they're not investing. And yet, now I'm back to Jesus' words, your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not so much more valuable than they are? Aren't you so much more valuable than they are? You are. You are. And yet, you're sitting under a teaching that says tithing is the only way to receive blessings from God. Listen, giving genuinely from your heart because it's a good thing to give is a beautiful thing. But when I grew up, my church taught something very, very different. You owed money to God. And the way that you paid money to God was through tithing. You can't pay God. He is bigger than that. He created the world before there was ever a construct of money. So why do you think that to support a building fund today, God would need to enact a system that is clearly man-made? I think that a lot of people preaching this, I think they are scared. They need a monthly income, and so they go to this method because a lot of churches teach it, but it's just based on fear and guilt. You don't owe God anything. God takes care of you, period. That's where the story stops. You do not need to tithe.